notice is one thing. I certainly notice other attractive women or attractive men or something like that. But if I'm all of a sudden going, that looks good, then that's disrespectful. I'm not saying they shouldn't notice it, but
yeah, I'm in favor of that kind of disrespect.
I just firmly believe that not everything you think really belongs in the ears of your lover, because you know, people are insecure to begin with. Why feed an insecurity?
How does that resonate with you being our singles maven around here?
I think she's right on track, and I think a lot of times girls are nasty because they're so angry at men that they don't realize.
Yes, but don't you think they have to let go of that anger? Because then they also say, why can't I find a great guy?
Right. Because they're pushing him away.
Exactly.
I think trust is absolutely the most vital part of a relationship, and that without that, you don't have a relationship, because there's deception and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, I'm confused. Are you saying the man needs to feel that way? Because as a woman, if I'm with a man that I can't trust, I don't want to be in that relationship.
Okay, the question is, what's more important in a relationship, attraction or compatibility? Let me ask you a simple question, if I might. Because you're asking me personal stuff about my life.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Why didn't you marry this guy? Why aren't you married yet?
Because I haven't known him long enough.
But why aren't you married yet?
Because I haven't found somebody that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with.
So there wasn't one man who was so persuasive that he swept you off your feet?
I was pursuing my career, and I wasn't in a place in my personal life yet that I felt I was ready to make a lifelong commitment.
If you had met a guy who made the earth move for you, your career would have been less important. Your career became, because love was weak. Love has become too weak for us today.
And I need to have a loving relationship that'll balance that, not hinder it.
Okay, career is super important. What I'm trying to say, though, is most women today will say exactly what you said. I'm not married because I didn't find the right guy. And even though they may have dated 10, 20 guys, what they're really saying is no guy is good enough, because love is weak.
No, that's not true, because I've only been ready to get married for maybe
we are way over time. They're going to start screaming at me.
Things are going badly in a relationship. I'd be wondering if the other person was cheating.
I think you'd have to say something and confront it and say, look, this is something that's important to me. I want sex in my life. And
I understand, but he says, I understand all that.
And if I'm going to continue to be in your life, then I'm going to need to have sex with somebody else, if that's okay with you. And if it's not, then I need to not be in this relationship. I think you need to be honest about it, though. I don't think you can go out and start having affairs.
So you would hold that axe over
But it's not holding an axe. It's taking care of yourself. You know, it's like we are responsible for taking care of our needs. So if we're not having our needs met, then I think it's appropriate to then say, look, I need to have this need met. And if you can't do that for me, then I need to find someone who can.
Steve?
Whoa. I believe in begging.
It might be easier to get laid, though, because people might drop their standard a little bit and just wanting companionship. No, I'm serious. In wanting to be with somebody.
Let me know.
You know, you go up to the guy who goes to do pickup line. You know, my dear, we're ready to be blown up now.
We're all going to die any minute.
Well, but even the Koreans are going to bomb us as well as the Iraqis.
To go through the process of the war with. It's nice to have someone to watch it with on TV and talk about and just feel that sense of companionship.
But you never done.
Let's get back to reality here. We're not talking here about London during the Blitz, where every night the Luftwaffe was flying overhead or the V-2s were coming in. We're talking here about people who are watching a war that's halfway far away.
Yeah, but it might not be, because, I mean, September 11th was right here in our city. So I think people are afraid of that this time in taking the subway. I know people that won't take it because they're afraid that something's going to happen down there.
It's not so much, Donna's right. It's not so much the war. It's not so much the war, it's the effect of the war that could happen here again.
But we're being conditioned to be afraid. They're pumping fear into the market. Have you ever seen more PR to make people afraid than what we've been getting?
But I think it's cautious, because everybody said, no one told us about September 11th. We didn't know it was going to happen, and they started to point fingers. Did anyone know? And they didn't warn us beforehand. So I think they're trying to say to us, look, this could happen, so that we can't turn around and say, you didn't tell us.
But I was really upset by Diane's story, because that wasn't about, in my opinion, those girls that are enjoying this business. It was about the lower, sleazier end of this business, and these girls that were duped into thinking they were going to a regular modeling casting, and in a place where they really needed money in their lives, ended up doing something that I don't think they would have done otherwise. The guys that are making the tapes are making a lot of money. They're offering them like $500, $300 for graphic sexual acts. To me, that's not worth it. That's really not good money.
I think it was an inaccurate portrayal, not only of the lower end of the business, because, I mean, I know people that work for those companies. It's really just abusive to the performers, and that's why I think they should turn their backs and hang up the phone.
Except for mothers sitting at home watching these shows, which are very popular, who has a teenage daughter that they might be having a problem with, that then is aware of something that they might not have been aware of. Belladonna's mother was right there, a Mormon, unaware in the beginning of what her daughter had gotten herself into because she, kind of ran away and started making money in a sense. I think those shows are very important for parents to know what their children could possibly be exposed to.
If I was married, or even just with my boyfriend, and he cheated on me, and we were going to stay together, I absolutely don't want to hear every detail about that, or I'm not going to be able to forget it. I don't want vivid images and pictures in my head that are running through of exactly what happened. That's worse.
See,
I having been through the experience, because actually at a much younger age, I did want to know, and then I found out that I didn't want the information that I had, and I was struggling more with that information than if I had just not known.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to a place in my life where certain ignorance is bliss.